Welcome to KSJ Bridging the Gap. This is Sarah. March 2nd is the Read Across America Day. This date was selected by the National Education Association of the United States in 1998 based on the birth date of Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is a household name. The childhood of many children across the globe, even including kids in mainland China, is accompanied by Dr. Seuss storybooks. Dr. Seuss, who was born Theodore Seuss Geisel on March 2, 1904, published 46 children's books, and many of his works have been adapted for television, film, and theater. He won the Lewis Carroll Shelf Award twice. Dr. Seuss created a writing style that has metamorphosed into its own separate category of unique vivacity, coupled with a manipulation of everyday words and name to achieve rhymes or desired bits per line. He created a book using only 220 words that were important to a young child's vocabulary. The Cat in the Hat. It went on to instant success, and its beloved character is now the trademark of all Dr. Seuss books. Dr. Seuss said, "Words and pictures are yin and yang. Married, they produce a progeny more interesting than either parent." About writing, this is what he said. "It has often been said, there's so much to be read. You never can cram all those words in your head. So the writer who breeds more words than he needs is making a chore for the reader who reads. That's why my belief is the briefer the brief is, the greater the sign of the reader's relief is." Although Dr. Seuss wrote books with the goal of creating enjoyable reading to stimulate literary growth, many of his whimsical stories contained serious traditional themes and common sense. He died in 1991, but the author continued to be super popular for kids across the world, earning an estimated $33 million last year alone. However, on March 2nd this year, 6 Dr. Seuss books were pulled because of racist and insensitive imagery. According to Dr. Seuss Enterprises, a division of Random House Children's Books and the Penguin Random House, the 6 books are "And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street," "If I Ran the Zoo," "McCalliger's Pool," "On Beyond the Zebra," "Scrambled Egg Super," "The Cat's Quizzer." In a statement, the company said these books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong. Soon after the announcement, prices of the books have skyrocketed on eBay and Amazon and other websites as people seek to obtain a copy of the now banned books. A rare 1937 copy of "And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street," perhaps the most well-known of the newly banned books, can be bought for nearly $5,000. What hurtful and wrong information they refer to? Here is an example. In the book, "And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street," there is racism against the Asians because the image of an Asian is painted as wearing a cone-shaped hat and holding chopsticks and a rice bowl. I'm struggling to understand how this is racist and how it is offensive and portrays hurtful imagery. I use chopsticks almost every day. Chopsticks are not racist. It's a fact that Asians use chopsticks, and we appreciate it if chopsticks are provided at a Western restaurant. For a Chinese, if you don't know how to use chopsticks, you'd better learn how to use them, because it is disgraceful for you to lose the heritage. And rice is not racist. Asians always eat rice. You go to a Chinese restaurant, a Korean restaurant, a Japanese restaurant, a Vietnamese restaurant, a Thai restaurant, they always have rice. Why is that racist? Why is that offensive? Another example is the book "If I Ran the Zoo." There are barefooted Africans, which is racist against African descent. So to draw Asians and African Americans is racism. How about this reading event organized by Michelle Obama a few years ago in the White House?
Yeah, I'm excited too. You know who saw this book this morning before he got on a helicopter? The president. We love Dr. Seuss in our house.
Is the then First Lady promoting racism? The announcement made by Dr. Seuss Enterprises comes as the corporate and the sports world have had to re-examine the use of racial images and stereotypes amid larger societal reckoning on race and equality following the death of George Floyd, a black man, in Minneapolis police custody. Last year, Washington's National Football League team retired the nickname, while Cleveland's professional baseball team announced it would drop Indians from its name. Land O'Lakes quietly removed the indigenous woman from its packaging, and last month, the Quaker Oats Aunt Jemima line became Pearl Mining Company. Obviously, canceling Dr. Seuss is only part of a trend to censor and cancel people by the extreme leftists. In 2019, a study from the University of California at San Diego and the Conscious Kid Library analyzed the 50 Dr. Seuss books and found that 98% of the human characters represented were white. The few characters of color showed characteristics of Orientalism and anti-blackness, the researchers found. Males of color are only presented in subservient, exotified, or dehumanized roles. This also remains true in the relation to white characters, the study reads. Most startling is the complete invisibility and absence of women and girls of color across Seuss' entire children's book collection. So, an American author writes about the white characters becomes a problem. So, it is a problem for Dr. Seuss to draw Asian and African characters in his books. When all these books were cancelled, you can find no multicultural elements at all, and it becomes 100% of white human characters. Is that what they want to achieve? In 2017, several left-wing scholars refused to enter the amazing world of Dr. Seuss Museum for a book fair because the mural outside the museum was about Dr. Seuss' book, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. They said the book was full of Asian stereotypes. The museum replaced the mural in the end. That same year, a librarian of a school in Cambridge, Massachusetts, criticized the 10 books received as a gift from the then First Lady Melania, claiming that many of Dr. Seuss' books were full of racism, harmful stereotypes, and caricatures impression. An opinion written by Padma Vakanchuma on School Library Journal said, if we want to nurture readers of color, we must get rid of racist classics in homes, bookstores, and in English classrooms. On the recommended list of childhood reading works by National Education Association, there is a book called I Am Jazz. It is the story of a transgender child based on the real-life experience of Jazz Jennings, who has become a spokesperson for trans kids everywhere. Does that mean we do not allow our children to read good classics with Asian or African illustrations, but encourage them to read about transgender? That's right. Pennsylvania Health Secretary Rachel Levin, born Richard Levin, Joe Biden's pick for Assistant Secretary of Health at the Department of Health and Human Services, has long defended experimental transgender treatments for children. We are talking about 3 years old changing their sex without having to obtain permission from their parents. What a world we are in! Just days before Dr. Seuss Enterprises announced it will stop publishing Dr. Seuss books, Alabama Governor Kay Ivey, a former teacher, released a video of her reading the Seuss book, All the Places You Go, for Alabama school children. She believes that there is no place for cancel culture in the country. Instead of worrying about telling kids it is wrong to read Dr. Seuss, let's worry about getting them back in the classroom. According to a recent poll conducted by Harvard Center for American Political Studies and the Harris Poll, 64% of Americans believe that canceling culture is a threat to freedom. President Trump warned before that Democrats and their allies are determined to rewrite American history and destroy American traditions. This is exactly what the Chinese Communist Party has been doing in the past 71 years in China. The CCP canceled the 5,000 years of heritage of traditional Chinese civilization and have been promoting the Communist Party culture, which originated in Europe. The Chinese ancestors are no longer enshrined on the altar of China, but the ghosts of the West. Karl Marx and Lenin and the alike. Unfortunately, after 71 years of the communist manipulation, most Chinese people get used to the party culture and forget about their ancestors and tradition. It is happening in the United States now. Trump once said worriedly, "Soon, you will not know the United States." KSJ Bridging the Gap. See you next time.